What's going on, guys? Eugene here, and let's talk about Death's Door. Now, Death's Door is an action-adventure RPG developed by Devolver Digital. Now, since Devolver is digital publisher, all their games are released only digitally, and Death's Door can be only acquired either on Steam for PC or on Xbox Store for Xbox. Unfortunately, there is no PlayStation version yet, hopefully. Now, at the beginning I must say, Death's Door reminds me a lot of Diablo games or similar type of games when you have a third-person view, but a little bit from up top, and you're running around some beautiful sceneries through different portals, exploring different areas, and most importantly battling a lot of enemies, mini-bosses and bosses, while using melee weapons, range weapons and spells. The gameplay itself is extremely smooth. You're battling, as I said, different enemies, each of them has different abilities, and you need to develop a different tactic how to defeat them. Although the tactic sometimes is straightforward, you need to hit them with their stationary and every time roll away or await their attacks. But when a combination of different types of enemies are running at you at the same time, and you have just NPCs that are running towards you and exploding, at the same time you have someone who's shooting arrows from far away, it suddenly becomes harder and harder to defeat these areas, especially if a mini boss comes into play and suddenly you have to take care of everyone. And although sometimes it's extremely challenging and sometimes you really have a frustration, you still want to progress further, you still want to defeat those guys and to see how story unfolds. Now, the story is amazing. You play as a crow, a reaper that needs to find a souls and help them to the other world, but one of your souls is stolen. Now, when you find the thief, he explains that there is such a thing as called Death's Door, and he wants to open it using a different souls. You need to collect these souls from a big bosses, or in this case giants, and you progress every area that is designed specifically for that giant. Now, along the way, besides a lot of enemies, you have also a lot of puzzles that you need to complete to progress further, and in some cases you also have a combination of puzzles and combat that you need to do. Now, design of the game, of all the puzzles and everything that is happening around, is just insanely beautiful. I must give it to the developers. The design of each area, like dark mansions or graveyards or frozen lands, everything looks really beautiful, and the music and just the musical score for this game is really something else. And because of that, you suddenly immerse yourself into this game and you don't want to quit, you want to go further and further and further. And although it seems dark that you're playing for a crow and you need to collect souls and you're running through graveyard, honestly everything looks very bright, and at the same time you have characters that have quite comic appearances, so suddenly everything is a little bit lighter. Also, the music that I mentioned brings a lot of melancholy to the game, so you actually feel relaxed, and it's not that heavy like in Diablo and you have demons and you have just millions of enemies running towards you. Instead, you have enemies that you need to defeat with a tactic, at the same time listening to the beautiful music, listening to the very funny characters, and most importantly, you want to see how the story progresses. And now, lately I've been playing major releases for $80-90. This game is on Steam for $25, and I believe before the release it was actually on sale for $18. And for such a price, receiving such an amazing game is really something. And it makes you kind of believe that the future of gaming lies with indie games like this instead of those major releases. So if you are a fan of RPG games, if you like Diablo games or similar, I really suggest you pick up a Death's Door. You will not be disappointed. As I said, unfortunately, it has not been released for a PlayStation yet. Maybe they will release a version for it, but nevertheless you can play this game with a controller or mouse and keyboard as you wish on PC. Although from the pictures and gameplays it might look like you're playing a comic book game with a crow that has a lightsaber, honestly everything kind of fits together perfectly, and it's a must play for anyone who loves a fantasy dream world. It's an amazing take on what's happening in the death realm beyond the living world, and it's really cool. Hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you very much, guys, and as always, keep on playing, my friends.